Am I the only one getting the feeling like Suya from Sleepy Princess is gonna appear here and start cringing over time as a precure? Our story continued with Manatsu.exe still not working. No, don't send the error report just yet. However, they probably could file for a refund on their Aquapod considering Laura wasn't coming out. Now, of course, Asuka was catching on to something being fishy because, let's face it, she was the only other character besides these two to get some above average development. Also, yeah, don't worry, the overview is still coming, as it does seem like Toei isn't going to pull any sort of moves just yet. Knock on wood. Where's the wood? Later, Manatsu tried to get Laura to come out with snacks.
Honey, the snacks are ready.
Kaz, I gotta go. Snacks are ready.
The lure did end up working on the fish girl after Manatsu had seemingly left, only to come right back. Of course, she started hitting her with a barrage of questions, though comforting enough, she started off by asking why she didn't come out of the pot, as she did generally worry that something had happened to her. But then she kind of had to ask about the whole kiss thing, which, yeah, Laura had no answer to. Fortunately for her, Manatsu also had a bit of an overly active imagination and interpreted her silence as Laura having lost her voice.
Roll credits.
I mean, to be fair, she did have solid deductions when she pointed out that quiet and well-behaved Laura is just not Laura. Hey, does anyone have a spare burn heal? And again, I really gotta compliment the art in this book. I mean, you can really pick out every subtle emotion in these faces, from the little things like a simple sweat drop to these very detailed eyes that really get across the feeling that Laura is hiding something just by looking off to the side. I mean, speaking from my own meta, there is a good reason I often look down to the side for a lot of my jokes to get across a feeling of awkward embarrassment. Good stuff, along with their actual brand of comedy that comes from the simplistic yet kind of over-exaggerated shock faces. They're not too ridiculous to the point that they feel forced, but also have just enough emotion that they don't qualify as
Dull surprise!
Of course, Manatsu shared her findings with her teammates, who were all concerned, except for one, obviously. And sure enough, after they split up to find a solution to the voiceless mermaid, Asuka confronted Laura with a certain reference that I won't point out just yet, as I want to save up that joke. Though I will at least compliment this background that just looks cool and makes our superheroine look a tad bit more villainous. In fact, the backgrounds in this book in general have been pretty great, even when they do go more abstract. Granted, some of it is a little too simplistic. I'm not even sure what sort of picture Manatsu is trying to hang up here.
This is actually a original Vincent van Gogh. People don't come over anymore.
But still, good stuff. Anyway, Asuka managed to make some fairly accurate assumptions, and even offered to help Laura in spite of everything she had done. Though, when you put a little too much pressure on a fish, well...
Spike has a crush on Rarity!
She did at least give her some advice before yeeting herself out of this plot along with everyone else. Well, at least this book is remaining fairly accurate to its source material. Anyway, Laura figured that she could easily act on Asuka's advice, as it was no big deal, and she could clear things up no problem. Yeah, about that. Certainly didn't help that they decided to meet at that overly symbolic reef from the first and last episode of the series. Seriously, that could not be a natural rock formation. In fact, I think I know who the artist was.
What do you think, Gary? Wanna be fun, Gary?
We then got the best joke of this book when Manatsu just casually revealed that she went full simp mode for Laura off screen and gave in to all of her demands, including that sea grape juice. Seriously, who and why would anyone want juice made out of this stuff? But yeah, again, I just love the looks of guilt on Laura's face here. However, the final blow came when Manatsu said that she'd stay by her mermaid friend's side throughout any and all hardships. Cute stuff, though I am also starting to really reflect on that Manatsu joke I made in the last video. I'm just saying, Laura, just know what you're getting yourself into is all. But yeah, Laura then finally revealed the truth, and again, just great faces here. I especially love Laura's half-shadow face here to cover up her guilt. However, being the prideful little mermaid she was, Laura tried to save face by pulling out that one reference I was saving up. I mean, come on, I had to do all these references considering that Manatsu's VA is a total JoJo weeb to the point that she even joined the family recently. Hell, even like a Joestar, she managed to totally tank a strike from a Brando and was just happy that Laura got her voice back. Of course, while deep down Laura probably knew Manatsu would react like this, she still felt like the biggest heel for taking advantage of her. Again, let's take a look at that list of activities they did in just one day. It actually makes this feel like a slight inversion of a certain SpongeBob episode, especially at the end.
You were supposed to explode!
You want me to explode?
Yes! That's what I've been waiting for!
However, rather than coming from some pipe bomb, we got a different kind of explosive ending after Laura revealed that she was trying to express her feelings like that mermaid in that one story. No, not that one, good God. But yeah, she probably didn't realize what she was implying through that. Still, for as much as the mermaid tried to deny it, Manatsu knew exactly what was the most important thing to do in this situation, which was to put on a fresh coat of lipstick and, well... Okay, so for this part, we're just gonna go silent, just so that you can appreciate the great art for yourself, that hopefully we'll be able to show in full, because yeah, apparently even kissing is censorable on this site. But still, do enjoy, and I'll just take a back seat over here. So, after nearly drowning herself, Natsu lost her lipstick, so she figured Laura could help her out. Again, like, damn girl, you don't have to literally be that thirsty, especially for all that salt water. And of course, Laura, being Laura, tried to play it off like they were still just friends. Personally, I'd argue more friends with benefits, but hey, semantics. And really, whatever the title, the most important thing was that Manatsu was indeed her first human friend. Which, in the end, maybe that's all that really needs to be said. With that, our story ended with Manatsu telling her friends that Laura got her voice back through the power of... Oh, it feels good to bring back those old overused jokes. Also, Laura asked Asuka if it was normal for human friends to kiss a lot, which hopefully will be a story for another day involving her. Oh, come on, that should totally be Yuriko. This Doujinshi is just beautiful. I don't know what else to say. Well, okay, I will say it also needs to have a plausible scenario for its source material, which often can be a problem with any fan work, as they won't always get the characterization right on point. Heck, I'll even say a lot of the character-based comedy here worked better than the actual show. Granted, you can only go up from ending on a poop joke. And while I highly doubt official material will ever get this explicit, even in the pages of the Kamikita Futago's books, this still is a nice holdover until we actually get those books, which are taking a bit of a while to come out in tankable form. Sorry for that, by the way. Whatever opinions you might hold towards Tropical Rouge overall, I think we can all agree that the relationship between Laura and Manatsu was one of the main highlights of that series. Even the first couple of episodes only really focused on them and their developing friendship. Later throw in a tragic first meeting, and you get a really engaging plotline that, unfortunately, didn't exactly get the resolution it deserved, but still, we really like the characters and the relationship regardless. Thus, a doujinshi like this that took things to their logical extreme was more than welcome. The fact that they managed to work in story elements of The Little Mermaid that not even the actual show really brought up was pretty clever, and made it feel like it could be a lost episode with a little less explicit Yuri. I mean, not complaining, especially when the art is this amazing, and it's just a good example of the dedication that these fans have, not just to the show, but also to their own craft. I know it might not sound like much, but the amount of detail they put into the water is truly admirable, making it feel like the actual thing, even in black and white. Thus, when we got to the climactic scene of this book, well, it was all the more impressive. And in general, all the characters looked on point, or at least consistent with the artist's style. Moreover, even though this story was mainly focused on the main ship of the series, all of the characters' personalities were on point for their brief appearances, from Asuka's no-nonsense attitude, Minori's quiet cynicism, and even Sango's third-wheelness. Yeah, I'll bring that more up in the overview. Still, overall, this was a great little romantic comedy featuring one of the more interesting pairings of recent memory of this franchise. If you ever see this book available for a decent price in Japan or on a Doujinshi site like I did, then check it out. Laura certainly managed to show how she became a part of Manatsu's world, to say the least. Again, hopefully this will be a good holdover until we get the official Tropical Rouge manga, but until then, I guess it is high time that we get to that little overview. Right now, I still maintain that I overall like this series, but do have to admit I had a lot of issues with that I really want to air out, and hopefully we'll find some middle ground towards these feelings. So look forward to it. And until then though, for now my friends, and if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go try and find some of that sea grape juice and see if it's as big a deal as that mermaid makes it out to be.